Just a minute ago, we read Torah readings that some of us struggle with. Maybe some of us wish to argue with God, asking why or how they exist. Now, we embark on a journey to read a book that may possibly serve as a blueprint for God's endless compassion to those who continually push back and challenge. Allow me to explain with a brief summary of the book of Jonah. When God tells Jonah to go to Nineveh to warn the people that their misbehavior will result in divine destruction, Jonah immediately becomes conflict averse. I know, classic millennial. He ignores God, journeying on a ship to Tarshish. This journey gets disrupted by a storm, a manifestation of God's anger. Jonah is not only subject to God's anger, but also that of his fellow sailors. In an attempt to stop the storm, his shipmates throw him off the ship and into the belly of a giant fish for 3 days and nights. Finally, God practically laughs in Jonah's face when the whale spits him up onto the shore of Nineveh, where Jonah is forced to do the job he was first assigned. After all of that running, how could God have given Jonah another chance at being the prophet that he was asked to be? Being conflict averse did not help Jonah avoid his job, and in turn, Nineveh repents for its sins, and its people are ultimately saved. Something in God continued to love Jonah, to believe in Jonah, to know that with endless compassion and chance, Jonah could do what he was sent to Nineveh to do. The boundless, limitless nature of God's love is a love that is almost impossible to exercise as humans, but completely possible in God's divine realm. Jonah continues to argue with God, even showing anger when Nineveh is saved. He's disappointed that Nineveh successfully repents, even though that meant he, Jonah, was a successful prophet, and the only one at that. How could God show compassion on Nineveh, listening to their pleas of repentance, and how could God show compassion on Jonah, allowing him to become a successful prophet? Time and time again, Jonah tries to escape judgment, tries to argue his way out of God's way, hide, and run. He just couldn't face himself, his job, his fate, or his need to do personal tshuva. But God teaches Jonah, and in turn teaches us, that there's no end to divine love. Whether we hear this in light of our Torah reading, accepting that God will still love us even as we struggle with divinely inspired law and work towards our personal understanding of it, or we hear this in light of our own tshuva, Ne'ilah is near, and we're giving our last ounces of energy to complete that tshuva. Either way, I invite you all, as we listen to this Haftarah, to try to open yourself to the godly love that you deserve, that comes to each individual, no matter how flawed or imperfect, and that will give you the strength to make it to the end of this fast day and into a new year.